in the Young Leader category for community service and social upliftment.
Let me at the very outset congratulate all the outstanding achievers that we've honored today. As the resume and the description of the activities, from accomplishments in academic, science, research, businesses, community services, itself indicated these were all people who've completely dedicated themselves to the discipline that was close to their mind and heart. And I'm glad that the Singhania family and the colleagues, through a very meticulous selection process undertaken by extremely objective and analytical minds, has selected the very best for these honors today. You rightly referred to this as the Leadership Awards. And in any aspirational society, a leadership award is of utmost significance. Leadership is the art of leading the society. It's the art of discovering a new path. It has the potential to resist walking on safe and conventional directions, exploring. And it's fortunate that today's world provides a huge amount of opportunity for this. The world itself has evolved. And it's no small achievement to be selected as the foremost amongst the achievers, because amongst the basic changes which is globally taking place and also being reflected in India is that the levels of success and achievement are now becoming far more tougher. We are a highly competitive society. And in a highly competitive society, standards of excellence itself become more difficult. You'll always find in a society which craves for excellence that there would always be a lot of crowding at the bottom. But then the space for that very difficult excellence on top would still be available. And in a world which is far more liberalized, which allows a lot more initiatives, and this is one of the basic tenets of what constitutes the reform process, that when you allow individual energies to be unleashed, you end up breaking various barriers. And therefore, for many of these achievers, whether it's in the world of business or science, technology, or community services, the barriers of the economic strata to which they belonged itself have become lower. the caste barriers itself are gradually becoming lower. And therefore, you will find achievers of this kind coming from almost every segment of society. And I think one of the best illustrations to explain this would be that in any particular field, if we look at, you can take the world of businesses, if we look at the conventional leaders, pre-1991 and compare it with the post-1991 list, that itself will demonstrate that in a society which allows greater initiative, greater freedom, greater entrepreneurship, greater space for excellence, better institutional facilities, better quality of educational institutions, we ourselves will discover a radical change in those lists itself. The other advantage of having these great achievers is that they also act as role models. And in an aspirational society, the need for these role models is extremely important. It is these role models who really need to occupy the center stage of the public discourse itself, because they are the ones who act as inspirations for many others who are aspirational. The only other point I wish to make is that you've distinguished these awards into two categories, that of the achievers and the young achievers itself. I'm sure at some stage this distinction itself will obliterate itself, because that's the other change which is taking place world over, because the era of grey eminence is gradually coming to an end. So in almost every field, the very best in the achievers starts exhibiting itself when they are in their 30s. They reach their climax when they are in 40s and start taking it easy thereafter. And that's happening world over. No longer is the best physician the man who's spent 50 years treating patients. No longer is the best lawyer who spent 50 years in court. Now that was happening in a generation earlier, and today's generation you'll find from CEOs to editors to the best researchers to the best professionals, people achieving their very best at the early stages of their lives. And I'm sure therefore this whole distinction between achievers and young achievers will gradually converge itself with the passage of time. But then I'm sure Bharati is listening to this with a smile that you are a conventional group, and therefore it probably will take some time before it registers, but I am sure this is bound to happen as far as this change is concerned. Once again, let me thank you for having invited me to associate with this program, and my best wishes and compliments to all the 6 very distinguished achievers who've achieved this. Some of them, particularly those who work in the field of community sciences, community services, are those who are faceless. At times they are working as small people in different segments of the society, but the kind of footprints they leave behind are extremely significant. And I think, as the introduction itself said, that they didn't do it for any form of glory, but the fact that you have recognized them, I think, is a great tribute to the contribution that each one of them has been making. Thank you very much once again, and my best compliments to those who've been honored.